Hi everyone, my friends, colleagues, industry peers. I want to share with you about the test that I'm doing with resin-backed Decton Slim tile. Decton Slim is a product manufactured by Cosentino, Spanish manufacturer, and it comes in 10 foot by 5 foot large panels that are 4 millimeters thick. Decton Slim has what's called, or what's known as resin backing. As you can see, so these are the Decton Slim samples that I will be testing for bond and adhesion with different cementitious mortars. As you can see, I think you can see and clearly distinguish this reflection that indicates solid resin backing. Now, it is very important for us as tile and stone professionals to be familiar with this backing and proper methods on how to work with it. We know about resin backing from the stone industry, and there are very useful resources, guidelines, and standards that I believe every tile and stone professional has to be very familiar with. Let me share with you from some industry documents, and I want to start with the Dimension Stone Design Manual version 8 that is published by the Natural Stone Institute, formerly known as Marble Institute of America. And in chapter 21, chapter 21, it's found in the Dimension Stone Design Manual on page 21.8. We read about fiberglass mesh backers, which is pretty much resin backing. So let me read it to you. Fiberglass mesh backers are used to reinforce unstable slabs and tile to reduce the likelihood of fracture. This benefit is largely limited to the handling and transport of the slab. Let me skip some sentences, and I want to read from here. Two complications arise from the use of adhered fiberglass mesh backers. First, the back surface of the stone is truly sealed, eliminating vapor transfer at this point. Second, the ability of Portland-based thinset to adhere to the epoxy-coated back is severely compromised, and in most cases, effective bond can only be achieved by using epoxy-based thinset. So now, even though they're talking specifically about natural stone, same technique is also used with some tiles. With Decton, it is used to reinforce this pretty thin panel, which is only 4 millimeters thick. So resin backing serves as a reinforcement to reduce the likelihood of fracture during transportation and installation. But the same principle is used to manufacture these thin panels. Also, in the TCNA Handbook 2020, also I want to refer to the TCNA Handbook 2020, and on page 10 we also read or find this very important information about the selection of natural stone tiles. It also says the following: fiberglass mesh reinforced stone. Many stone products have a mesh reinforcement adhered to the back surface of the tile. The adhesive used to attach the mesh is not standardized, but is commonly an epoxy or polyester-based adhesive that Portland cement mortars will not reliably bond to. Such reinforced stone tiles require epoxy bonding mortar. So the main point, or the main concern about using cementitious mortars with resin-backed tiles is that Portland cement mortars will not reliably bond to it, to such backing. In order for a cementitious mortar to form a strong, solid bond, it has to have what's called moisture exchange between the mortar, the polymers that are in it, and the substrate that it is adhered to. Because this backing eliminates water vapor transmission and pretty much makes the back of the stone or tile that it is adhered to highly water repellent. There is no such moisture exchange, which can severely compromise the bond or the adhesion of the mortar to the back of such tiles. Also, there is a very, very great white paper that is found in the NTCA, National Tile Contractors Association reference manual. In the last edition of this manual, on page 196, there is a great white paper that addresses this issue, and it discusses this issue in great detail, and it's called Mesh-Backed Stone and Tile White Paper. So it's a very detailed white paper article that discusses all the challenges associated with this particular problem. Also, it is very important to know that in most technical, I would say in the technical data sheet of most cementitious mortars available in the US market, in the cautions or limitations section, you can find the following information. So these are just the screenshots taken from the technical data sheets of some very commonly used premium mortars, such as titanium 257, 254, 254 platinum, trilite, custom megalite, custom flex bond LFT, Tech Ultimate 6 Plus, Tech Superflex. So we have 7 very like premium mortars, and in the limitations or cautions sections of each of this mortar, we can find information that says or warns about using those cementitious mortars with resin-backed tiles. For example, titanium 257, a cementitious mortar manufactured by Ledicrete Company. In the caution sections, it says, for green marble, resin-backed tile, and stone, and other moisture-sensitive marbles and agglomerates, use Latepoxy 300 adhesive, which is the epoxy adhesive. Also, many installers know how strong, and I mean terribly strong, the 254 platinum, Ledicrete platinum mortar is. Even though it is so strong, it also has in the caution section the following information: for green marble, resin-backed tile and stone, and other moisture-sensitive marbles and agglomerates, use Latepoxy 300 adhesive. Again, that's 100% solids epoxy adhesive. So, in my test, I want to use different Ardex cementitious mortars and one Ledicrete famous MML Multimax Light mortar plus Bosty set adhesive, which is polymer based as far as I understand, but is suitable for to install resin-backed tiles according to the information found in the technical data sheet for this particular mortar. So I want to use different cementitious mortars from Ardex Company, and these are, except for I don't have Ardex N23 rapid set mortar, but these are the most, I would say, famous Ardex mortars. All of these are premium Ardex mortars, and they include Ardex X78, X32, X7R, XS28, S48, X90, X5, and again plus Multimax Light and Bosty set. And I will be testing all these mortars with Deccan Slim samples. Also, I will be using, this is not my coffee, it just has some Ardex X77 mortar in it that was donated to me. I didn't have it at hand. And I will use this mortar, I will mix it with Ardex E90 additive, synthetic additive, and X77 with Ardex E90 synthetic additive, is recommended by Cosentino to use with resin-backed Decton Slim panels. So I will also test this combination as well. So I will be using these mortars, and I have two different sets or two different kinds of sample pieces. So I will use all these mortars with, I will just apply them directly to the resin-backed Decton Slim samples, and also I will be applying them to same Decton Slim samples that were primed with Ardex P4 pre-mixed rapid drying multi-purpose primer. About a year ago, I tested this great product that was presented by Ardex not long ago, and this primer is specifically designed as a primer for low or non-absorbent substrates. As well, it can be applied to the back of resin-backed tiles and stone to promote proper bond, to improve the bond of cementitious mortars. And about a year ago, we used that product to prime Crema Marfil that was resin-backed. We tested it, and results were just amazing, because the bond was, we had full bond from the cementitious mortars like Ardex X77 to the back of that stone. I always use this particular product for resin-backed tiles in dry areas. When it comes to installing Carrara marble or light colored marble in wet areas, I'm using a different method, that is an epoxy method, and I describe that method on my website, tilepro.usa.com, and you can find it on my Facebook page as well. Maybe many of you are familiar with our research on marble discoloration in wet areas. If you have more questions about it, just contact me. Also, I want to tell you that last week, approximately maybe a week and a half ago, I already did a quick test with two Ardex mortars, X90 and S28. Both mortars have tremendous adhesion and bond strength when they dry. They're rapid drying mortars. And I did a, like 1 day test. So I applied S28 and X90 directly to resin backing and removed the tile samples after about 6 hours. Normally, Ardex X90 and Ardex S28 dry and are ready for grouting within approximately 4 hours. In 4 hours, they create super adhesion with non-resin backed tiles, and they achieve tremendous strength, hardness, I would say. So I tested those two mortars with non-primed samples of Decton Slim, and I also primed two tile samples. And these two samples that were not primed, I was able to remove them, as you can see, absolutely free of mortar. So they just, I used chisel and hammer, and they were removed, I would say, pretty easily. But when it came to primed pieces that were installed with same mortars, they came off tearing out pretty much the weedy cementitious coating with them. It was installed over weedy board. So you can see the difference, and this was only like 6 hour test. So in 6 hours, this is the bond with primed pieces and not primed. This time I will do a 7-day test. I will give 7 days for curing of mortars, and I will remove all these pieces that I will be testing, and I will take another video and I will show you the results. Okay guys, I'll talk to you later.